The Chinese creator deity that hatched from a cosmic egg and then spent 18,000 years holding heaven away from earth is in Godforge. And if he can split the yin and yang for 18,000 years, literally holding heaven up, then he can carry you. We're going to take a little look in this spotlight at his kit, his awakenings, how I would gear him, and a little bit of gameplay at the end. So without further ado, let's get into it. So what is he about? He is an eternal brawler of order alignment, and his abilities are certainly interesting. So World Splitter, attack one enemy for 18% of his max HP and 150% attack. If this hero has more initiative than speed, you increase his resistance and his accuracy by 1%. Otherwise, increase his defense and attack by 1%. So if you build him with more speed than initiative, he'll gain infinite defense and attack. If he has more initiative than speed, he'll gain infinite resistance and accuracy. This doesn't have a limit by the looks of it. So potentially very dangerous in drawn out boss fights, just constantly increasing your attack if your speed is higher than your initiative. Now, that's not always going to happen, and we'll see that looking at the other abilities in a moment, but definitely a very, very strong ability. But the core and the basic is where it gets spicy. So, he places accuracy up on his hero for 2 turns, then attacks all enemies. The multipliers for this are max HP, attack, and 1200% of your initiative. So this is our first initiative-based multiplier that I've seen. If this hero has more initiative than speed, place defense down and attack down on each target for 2 turns, and then increase his speed by 50. Otherwise, place initiative down 2 and random lock skill on each target hit for 2 turns, then decrease his speed by 50. So yeah, very cool kit, lots of different debuffs that he can place, and yeah, the multiplier is interesting. I'll come on to how I'll build him in a moment. The ultimate then, Yin and Yang, places resistance up on him for 2 turns, then attacks all enemies, based on HP, attack, and now speed. So it's really, really cool kit. Can be a bit confusing to get your head around, just due to the amount of different stats, but a very cool hero. If this hero has more speed than initiative, place drain 2 on each target for 2 turns, and then increase his initiative. Otherwise, place speed down on each target for 2 turns and decrease this hero's initiative. He also gains 40 divinity when attacking enemies under a debuff. So, yes, lots and lots going on there. And in his passive, if this hero's initiative is more than speed, your attack's still turn meter. Otherwise, they still divinity if speed is higher than initiative. He is a stat-hungry monster. There are lots of ways to build him potentially. You know, if you want speed, initiative, you want accuracy for the debuffs, you want HP for the other multiplier, attack for his multiplier. There is so much to do here. But after the Awakenings, we'll go into how I would do it. The Awakenings at rank 1 increase the accuracy by 1% when initiative is more than speed, and increase attack by 1% when speed is more than initiative. This is linked to his basic attack. Number 2, more initiative. Number 3 is the one that adds attack down to the core and lock skill to the core. Number 4 is more initiative base. And then his Awakening 5 also increases this hero's HP by 10%, stacking up to 5 times. That is when you cast his ultimate. Now that will be massive as well. Every 5 times you cast it, you're going to increase your max HP. So, let's get on to gearing. I'm going to talk about what I believe the best way to gear him is, and then we will get into the gearing itself. Now, a lot of it is going to revolve around whether your initiative is higher than your speed, or your speed is higher than your initiative. Now, the way I would do it is I would make sure that your initiative is higher than your speed. And there are 2 ways to go about doing that. The reason for it is, if your initiative is higher than your speed on each side for 2 turns, you're going to increase your speed by 50. Now, if we look at this at the first time that we ever cast it, you're just gaining speed. That is lovely. Fantastic. If it is the other way around, if your speed is higher than your initiative, you're going to lose speed at the first time you cast this. Now, after you cast your ultimate and you flip back round to this or what have you, or the second time you cast it, but you're always at parity that way. You're never actually going to be gaining more speed. which is why I think you build initiative more than speed. So let's say I've got 200 initiative and 150 speed. I will then gain 50 speed. So I'm 200 and 200. I've not lost anything on that first cast. The second time around, if they're matching, or if my initiative is still higher, I will gain more speed. So potentially I will go to 250 speed, 200 initiative. I've not actually lost anything there. I've always gained. Then the third cast, I will lose speed. I will drop back down to 200 again. It's always a net gain doing it that way on the core, which is why I think you should build initiative over speed. On the ultimate, if the speed is more initiative, you'll place drain and then increase his initiative. If your initiative is higher, you'll place decrease speed. I think having the decrease speed in most situations is also going to be better. Now, this does increase the damage from attacks by 20% and you heal, but I would rather slow the boss down or whoever I'm fighting down, get more turns in than I think I would from the drain. That's just the way I sort of view it. Obviously, if you disagree with me, that is fine. But that is how I'm going to target building Pangu. Now, if you can get 50 more speed than... Now, if the difference between initiative and speed is 50, you're only going to get one trigger. If you can get it to 100, that will be amazing. I think right now, though, it's going to be very difficult to get 100 and get those 2 procs off the core, just with the limited resources and things that we have available. So I'm going to aim for at least 50 more, whilst not hampering myself too much. But we'll see how we get on in a moment, because my gear is not fantastic, so I'll come back in a sec. So here we are. We have Pangu geared now, and this is what we have gone for. We're not quite crit capped. We're almost there, but, you know, be nice to change that. As you can see, I've got 54 more speed than initiative. Speed's a little bit low, really. We can save that with the speed aura from Aphrodite. So that is perhaps one thing that I would like to do. But if I give myself a speed aura, I'm going to reduce that difference. So we're going to hold off on that for now, see how well we do without. But yes, so we're going to get 2 triggers from the core ability first. We're going to gain speed twice, which is going to be very nice. We're going to gain an extra 100 speed in the long term, which is fantastic. Again, we're never losing speed. It's always going to be a net gain. 72k HP and some accuracy. So, what have I gone here? I've gone for initiative on the helmet. Now, you can also go accuracy up here, but I have gone for initiative with some accuracy and speed substats, bit of crit rate. Ideally, don't do what I've done and invest in a 2-star helmet. If this could be 4-star, it would be amazing. Way more initiative. We can get higher speed and accuracy rolls there too. Maybe I would change that flat attack roll for HP percentage in an ideal world. But there we go. So yes, initiative on the helmet. On the shoulder pads, I've gone with HP percentage just because it's rolled nice substats with accuracy, giving me more initiative, crit rate, crit damage. If we're going to be building him for damage, this would ultimately be crit damage up here with HP percentage down here. But again, I don't really have anything that has everything that I want. So we're working with what we've got. As you can see, we low rolled here. We've low rolled in an awful lot of places. This doesn't have speed. So this doesn't have HP percentage, rather. Might still roll better. Let's just have a quick look-see whilst we're here together. Using the rest of my gold. Hot garbage. No, so we're sticking with what we've got here. On the chest, we've gone for HP percentage with initiative and crit rate. That's all we really care about. We've got crit damage on the gloves. You can't get HP percent here, so this is what we've gone with. It rolled some nice initiative, attack, crit rate. Again, speed or HP percentage would be ideal. If you're low on accuracy and you don't care for the damage, you can go for the accuracy main stat on the gloves, like I've got perhaps on my Skadi or Pandora. But yeah, I've gone for crit damage because we do want him to do some damage. Legs, HP percent, one of the few places you can get HP percent as a main stat. So we've gone here. Again, we'd like some speed instead of the flat defense, but overall pretty nice. And then lastly, I've gone speed on the boots. Now, if you get a lot of speed on a substat, initiative boots is probably the way I would go with a very high speed substat. Something like this pair here, but it's not that high of a roll, and I wanted the gear set bonus. But this is another route you could go down, but yeah, I feel like I'm just going to slow myself down too much overall, even though I will be gaining 100 over the course of the fight. This is what I've gone with here. But yes, speed or initiative boots here. If you can get a high speed stat sub roll, if you get like 25 like I got on a pair of gloves earlier, like this, if you get 25 here as a speed substat, definitely go for initiative boots. But I'm working with what I've got. Now, gear set wise, Kraken will be nice, increasing your HP over time. You could also go with, say, I've gone for Parasite because we are placing debuffs, so we are going to be getting that heal based on our max HP, and we have a lot of base max HP, so that is fantastic. Eagle set would be nice, giving you more initiative, and I've got initiative here but no speed main, so we've left that off. If you are going initiative, helmet and boots, you can also go for Falcon set to give yourself a little bit more speed. That could also work. Soul to increase your damage. These are all very nice sets that you can go for. Now, from what I've seen, there aren't any sets that increase your initiative over time or speed. That's probably done purposefully. But if there was a set like that, I would throw that on. Razor might also be nice as a two-piece set, but I think for me, if I was to pick, I really like Parasite, so two-piece Parasite, two-piece Kraken for the increased HP, and then I'd probably go for two-piece Falcon and aim to get initiative on my helmet and my boots. Now when it comes to weapon, like all brawlers, it's probably getting very boring listening to me. Heka is king. They've got the accuracy main stat, and then you can fill the side piece with anything you want. We've got crit damage because it's the only one I've got. But you can use Pangu's namesake and go for World Splitter, just increasing all of his stats by a certain base. But for me, in the build that I've got, I don't have many accuracy substats rolls, so I would lose quite a lot. But it is worth considering. Maybe I'm going to test both out just to see which does more damage to show you guys. Mjolnir you can go for, once again, to just increase your ultimate chance, or the time that it takes to get your ultimate rather. Bloodsword also very nice. You're going to be stacking yourself with high HP, so as you lose it over time, you're just increasing how hard you hit, which is very nice. You can obviously go Galantine, and you could also go for Shamshir, but the three that I would pick, it's going to be Heka, it's going to be World Splitter, and Mjolnir coming in third. Now, as to which imprint I would recommend, you've got, again, a few different options. Heimdall's works okay because he is placing accuracy and resistance up on himself, and then there's a 15% chance to reflect any debuff. If you reflect the debuff, you will also heal from the Parasite set, which is cool. You can put Pangu's own imprint on a weapon and then equip that to Pangu just to increase his effectiveness, which is kind of cool. Gilgamesh's is very nice just to increase your ultimate gauge once again, and Hercules just gives him a bit of survivability. Osiris's is also a very nice one to use and to have to increase the damage that he inflicts. Outside of that, though, there probably isn't much else I would recommend. Hounds for some survivability, perhaps. But yeah, that is probably where we would be. So let's jump into some fights and see what he's all about. So here we are, we're going to do 148 just for some fun little damage. As I said, I'm putting him in the aura, slot to get that HP. But another thing you can do is go for the 20% increase initiative. I think all will work fine, but going for the speed aura will increase or will decrease the gap between your initiative and your speed, so you're not going to get so many triggers on the core. I'm actually going to run initiative on this one, and just to see how it goes. So what we're going to do, we are going to use the ability on Pangu. The rest of my team is fast enough that it doesn't really matter that he is slow, and we're hitting for 46k, which is very nice. Aphrodite giving him the speed bonus has meant now that he has overtaken everyone. Another 30k hit. We have avoided the taunt from the Horus. And then here, time for the core ability. Bang, 50k strong hit, very nice. And it's not even the most optimal build. But in doing that, has now given us 50 more speed. So moving into the next round, we might find that actually we don't require Aphrodite speed up to start lapping people. 65k, ooh. Now our ultimate is ready. Now our speed is not higher than theirs, so we are still going to be placing the speed down and decrease our initiative. Now whether you want to use that now is up to you. I think in an ideal world, you'd look to use your core again to gain that speed back. But just for the sake of damage, bang, 80k, 85k. Increase our divinity and turn meter once more. Coming for the hit, 95k. It's actually disgusting. Coming in on Anubis here, 147,000 on the basic. Now we can't target the Gilgamesh here. 133k. It's actually silly. 100k. Aphrodite probably going to get the kill there. So we will finish with the ultimate. Bosh, 100,000. There we are. And that is it for our spotlight on Pangu. If you pull him early, like a few people did, invest in him. He will carry you. He is doing a fair amount of damage, and the fact you're building him with HP, just increasing his survivability. I love the kit. Seems a bit confusing to begin with, but ultimately, in summary, build him high HP, high initiative, with a little bit of accuracy, and he will do the rest. Thank you very much for watching. Take care and look after yourselves. Work hard, but as always, play harder. And I will see you in another one soon. Cheers.